Welcome back to the Rambler Sports Locker. I'm RSL reporter Eric Moran, joined alongside RSL reporter Amelia Ickes to preview the Sweet 16 matchup between the 8-seeded Loyola Chicago Ramblers and the 12-seeded Oregon State Beavers. Amelia, you've been following the Ramblers run closely so far. How do you think the Ramblers are going to fare in this game?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really, really interesting game. It's a matchup that I don't think a lot of people expected. According to the NCAA, 7.12% of brackets predicted that Loyola would be in the Sweet 16, and only 3.22% put Oregon State in the Sweet 16. So I think people are really excited to see how these two teams will play. And I think it's going to be a little bit more of a back and forth in the game that we saw last Sunday against Illinois. There's really great players on both sides, but I would be amiss if I did not talk about Cameron Krutwig, King Krut, as people have dubbed him. He was actually ranked number 1 on Sweet 16 players to look out for by NCAA college basketball correspondent Andy Katz. He actually had a double-double against Illinois with 19 points and 12 rebounds. So he's a really exciting player, and he has been since his freshman year when he started during March Madness. There's also fellow senior Lucas Williamson. He brought in 21 points against Georgia Tech during the first round of the tournament and 14 points against Illinois. So he'll also be someone to look out for. And I think the results of this game just come down to, honestly, who wants it more. And in my opinion, I do think it's Loyola. They're currently tied with Duke for the best winning percentage in the NCAA tournament history at 75%, with an overall record of 15 wins, 5 losses. I really think that number is going to propel them through this game to the Elite Eight. I just think that they want it a little bit more. Eric, I know that you've been following the Oregon State Beavers. Can you tell me a little bit about some key players to look out for from their team and your prediction for the game on Saturday?
Yeah, so the Beavers are a really interesting story, mainly because if you were to look at their regular season play, you wouldn't really expect this team to have the postseason run that they've been having up until this point. Oregon State actually finished just 6th in the Pac-12 standings, going just 10-10 in conference play. But despite that, they've had an extremely impressive run in the Pac-12 tournament with wins over UCLA, Oregon, and Colorado in the Pac-12 championship game. And also the Beavers' recent success is nothing to scoff at either, considering the Pac-12 has 4 teams, including the Beavers, in the Sweet 16. On top of the Pac-12 success, the Beavers took care of 5th-seeded Tennessee and 4th-seeded Oklahoma State in the NCAA tournament to get to the Sweet 16. Now, a big part of the Beavers' success is their shooting ability. In the game against Tennessee, the Beavers shot a field goal percentage of 48.2, and in that game, they made 10 three-pointers. This team is also really well-rounded. They use their bench players really well. And when it comes to individual players to look out for that I think could make a big impact against Loyola Chicago, I think of Ethan Thompson, who scored 26 points and 7 rebounds in the round 2 matchup against Oklahoma State. Also, look out for 7'1" Roman Silva. He's not a huge point scoring threat, but I believe he could make things really difficult for Cameron Krutwig. So yes, the Beavers are a 12 seed and they're going up against a very good Loyola team that, quite frankly, should have had a better seeding. But the Beavers have been underdogs in their last 5 games, and they've won their last 5 games. But that being said, Loyola's defense took care of a really good Illinois team. Despite the Beavers' success from beyond the arc, I'd give the edge to the number 1 defense in the country. I'm going with Loyola for this game.
Thanks, Eric. I think it's also important to note just the presence of fans that will be in the building on Saturday. Loyola is just a 3-hour drive away from Indianapolis. Meanwhile, Oregon State is more than 2,000 miles away. So it'll be interesting to see how many fans are in the building cheering on the Beavers versus the Ramblers. Loyola will face off against Oregon State on Saturday, March 27th at 2:40 p.m. Eastern, 1:40 p.m. Central Time at the Bankers Life Fieldhouse. For all things March Madness, be sure to follow Loyola RSL at Loyola RSL on all socials. For the Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Amelia Ickes.